Hi, I'm Bethany with Shabby Fabrics, and today I'm going to walk you through some tips and tricks for using the Olfa Chenille Cutter for making chenille. I want to show this to you because we've got a new project available with some kits on the website using chenille. This is the Santa's Hat placemat, and you can see we've got this beautiful chenille here made from flannel on the band and the bauble on top of Santa's hat here. And you can see we've got some beautiful samples made up for you. So the kit we've put together features the Santa's Hat placemat pattern that you see here. This does come with full-size pattern pieces for cutting out your Santa hat shapes. And then you see this chenille here does take quite a few layers of fabric, so your kit will also include all of the flannel that you will need to make enough chenille for all 4 placemats. A couple of the things I want to point out here is we've got the Olfa Chenille Cutter that is critical to making this. You're going to want some fine tweezers, and then for quilting your chenille before you cut it apart, I really like the Wonder pins here. They're just really easy to work with and just a great addition to your sewing stash there, your Notion stash. So let's get right into some features of the chenille cutter here. Okay, so I'm going to move this here. If you see, it might be a little hard to see from overhead, but I have small, medium, large, and extra large here. This is all for describing widths of our chenille, okay? This one that you see here was made with the extra large side. If you see I go to the small, this is a lot narrower. And this is gonna be a little foot that slides between the channels of our chenille that we're gonna prepare. The cutter here also, when you're using this, the blade is stationary. So if you do a couple passes and that blade gets dull, you need to turn it. We can say turn to get new edge. We're gonna follow the arrow and turn this one click, and that'll get us a new edge on our rotary cutter. Turn to select guide. If we turn this the other direction, that gets us a different size foot that we're gonna be sliding through. So I wanna show you let's get this back to extra large because that's what we'll be using today. I'm gonna clear this up a little bit. And this is my prepared chenille, okay? I have a layer of cotton, and then a bit smaller than that, I have 3 layers of flannel all sewn directly on top of each other. I did just draw one diagonal line on this and then use the width of my foot. It's about a 3/8 inch width here between to do some diagonal lines. And what happens here when the background of your chenille is larger than the actual flannel itself is that gives you a spot to slide the chenille cutter into. I'm going to turn this a little bit because it's easier for me to work with this going straight. And we're just going to pick any starting point, and this foot here will slide under those 3 layers but stay on top of the cotton. That cotton's going to work as your foundation and keep everything all together. Okay? Make sure I've got that blade open under all 3 layers, and we are just going to slide straight across. So now we've got those layers separated, but the back is not cut through. That holds everything together. And we're just going to keep going down the channels of this. Okay? You're going to do a couple passes and notice that they get a little harder to do each time. Okay? And that's why we're going to be grabbing our tweezers. See here, there's a little bit of lint buildup in this. I've tried this with flannel like we're using here. I've tried this with quilting cotton. You're not going to get around the lint buildup, so grab some fine tweezers to pull that out. And you can go at a couple more passes. And then if you find your blade is still getting a little dull, that's when we're going to use, see there was a little resistance there. We're going to clean that lint out, and then we're going to follow the black arrow there, and we're going to turn this to get a new edge. So that gives us a bit of sharpness on the edge of the blade there. Okay, so you see how we're doing this here. We're going to continue through the whole length or the whole piece of chenille that we have prepared. Okay, And now you see that I've got kind of all these layers of fabric that have some texture to them. What we're gonna do when we've cut through all of the channels here is take this and wash it. The easiest thing to do is gonna be to toss this into your washer and dryer, and that'll help get this all fluffy. I do wanna show you this little bit here is what it starts as. This is what it's gonna look like. So even if you don't want to toss this in your washer and dryer, you may be worried about like extra lint built up in the machine, because there will be some lint there. You can wash this by hand and then have it lay flat to dry or hang to dry and get a really wonderful result with this, okay? And I do wanna say, if for some reason you're tempted to do your lines straight up and down following the grain of the fabric, you will not get the same look here. The chenille works because we're going on the bias of the fabric, and that's what keeps this frayed but not stringy and falling apart. So we do have to follow that diagonal grain or the bias of the fabric here. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today on this really quick tutorial. That is just how easy it is to make chenille, and that Olfa Chenille Cutter makes that just way faster than any technique you could do with just scissors by hand. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget to pick up your kit for the placemats. That makes 4, and we only have limited quantities available of these kits. Don't forget also to pick up your wonder pins and some fine tweezers to make this way easier, way faster for you. And I'll see you on the next Shabby tutorial.